If you've been watching the NFL this year, you'll have noticed the renaissance in the run game. Whether it be Sonic and Knuckles in Detroit, Saquon soaring high in Philly, or running QBs becoming a league staple, the NFL has officially flipped its cycle away from pass domination into the new age of the run. As defensive coordinators created solutions to shut down the modern passing game, offensive coordinators worked tirelessly behind the scenes to find the weaknesses in these solutions. So how did they flip the script and grow the ground game back to prominence? Let's dive into the details. To counter modern aerial attacks, defenses have trended towards a too-high structure, allowing for more disguised and complex coverages. But this comes with compromise in how you play the run, and OCs have found ways to attack it with the insert concept. More of a tag than a straight concept, this sees an offensive player work towards the ball and insert themselves into the blocking scheme, working through a specific gap to get to their assignment. So why is this effective? Well, to understand that, we first need to talk about run fits. That's how each defender is tasked in playing the run. The basis of every run fit is the defensive structure and number of players committed, referred to as spacing. In 9-man spacing, the front 7 and the 2 high safeties are all in the fit. This is mostly seen in short yardage situations where aggressive defense is needed to hold an opponent short. The next is 8-man spacing, played from a single high safety look. All 8 men in the box are generally assigned a single gap. Finally, there's 7-man spacing, played from a 2 high look, where the lack of bodies leaves the defense outgapped against a traditional offense. So, they're gonna have to find a way to cheat the numbers. This is most often done by having a lineman crash down to collapse 2 gaps into 1, or a defender knocking back their matchup and reading the play, protecting both gaps by 2 gapping. How these 7, 8, or 9 players corral the runner is a subject of endless fascination, but the 3 main variants are box, lever spill lever, and spill overflow. Describing these in full is far beyond the scope of this video, so we're just going to focus on box, which is the most common and easiest to understand. That's the idea of boxing in the runner and redirecting him back inside to the help defense. Now, run fits are incredibly complex, and we're breaking this down to talk about a run concept. So just know these can change drastically based on offensive formation, personnel, and tendencies, which is the perfect jumping off point to talk about the modern NFL. With a push to too high to create confusing coverages for the pass game, the NFL has had to predominantly move towards 7-man spacing. However, it's not the standard 7-man spacing of the past. With teams moving away from 2-back systems, defenses have matched the 3 wide receiver sets by moving to a nickel base, and this removes a man from the box. To allow this nickel defender and the rest of the secondary to focus on the pass, NFL run fits have become a 6+1 system, trying to control the 7 gaps created in 11 personnel with just 6.5 players. The ends rush hard upfield, working as force players on the edges, allowing them to maintain their pass rush threat while being active in the run. The defensive tackles are looking to take on the guards, pushing them back and looking to read them, getting over to the gap of the direction of the run to force the ball back inside. This leaves the center having to block both linebackers, with the run being funneled towards the A-gaps, giving the defense a numbers advantage despite lacking the initial bodies. The +1 player can either be the nickel corner or a weak side safety rolling down to help fit a gap late. Who this is and what triggers them joining the hunt varies, but usually it's based on pre-snap formation calls or backfield action. Now we understand how the defense is fighting the fight. We can come back to the question, why is insert so effective? Well, with defenses limiting resources they commit to the box, gaining a numbers advantage inside late is extremely difficult to counter, needing to shift at the last second to match. This action can also strand a defender who was initially charged with covering the inserting player, leaving them unsure how to join the run fit, further adding to the numbers advantage. Inserting a player also creates angles defenders aren't expecting or accounting for, disrupting the defensive line and linebacker flow. And because it's more of a tag than a straight concept, you can use it in a multitude of designs and misdirections, opening new lanes and old concepts. The most basic form is the insert ISO or insert lead concept. That's bringing someone from outside the box and inserting them to become the lead blocker, isolating a linebacker for them to hit and lead the way. The ever-versatile St. Brown will motion from the stack and insert through the C gap, leading the way for Montgomery. Look at the space this creates, and Knuckles is rumbling to the one. The duo concept has also been a big trend in this year's run game, creating double teams inside to move those reading defensive tackles. And here, the tricky Rams pair it with the insert. Nacua comes in motion and inserts between the tight end and the double team to get to the linebacker fast. And look at the climb and the space this generates, allowing Kyron to pick an optimal path and power for every yard possible. Back to the Lions, who are going to feature a lot, and here's more duo with a clever motion added. St. Brown is in motion again, but he's not the player inserting. In fact, he's going to block the nickel who's guarding Laporta, allowing him to insert into the C gap and climb to the rolled down safety. The right guard and tackle move the 3-tech out the gap, and with the center handling the nose, the left guard climbs to the will backer, forcing the Mike to defend the weak side A gap. And look at the lane created. The motion has even a good run defender in Devin Witherspoon stranded, unsure where to help, and Gibbs knives right through the heart of the defense. Its versatility means you can add it to any concept, and here's creativity from Reed & Co. Kelsey is going to motion in from the slot, and on the snap, hit a 180, becoming the second puller in the Chiefs' counter concept. A nice gap opens up, and look how high and out of the concept Damar Hamlin gets stranded. Luckily for the Bills, Dorian Williams plays it well and shuffles over the block to slow the runner's momentum. Far from just gap scheming, the insert is a valuable tag in zone runs too, creating clever lanes for backs to hit. One of the best ways to use it is in the wide zone. With ends looking to play high and protect the edge against these wide zones, Algiers' initial path is going to be cut off, but Atlanta's got a plan. The motioning tight end isn't looking to get to the edge, but open a lane through the B gap. If the B gap is closed, he opens it by attacking the D tackle in a double team, then peeling off to the backer. If it opens up, he simply goes through it and leads the way, looking to hit the first available defender. Carolina fights over hard to the edge, and the B gap is closed on this one. So watch this magnificent block, clearing out the tackle by helping on the double team, then peeling off to find the Mike, opening a lane for his back. Here's the same concept out of a different formation in the red zone, and even better results. Charlie Warner is going to back and forth motion before becoming that wide zone lead blocker, this time towards the strength of the formation. This time the B gap is wide open, so he goes through it and hits the linebacker. And with Algiers steered inside by the high set edge, look at the gap he can hit, running through the safety's attempt for the score. It doesn't just have to be aimed at the point of attack in the zone. It's a great way to get a blocker on that elusive will backer and stop him breaking the zone play. Here, Laporta shifts from left to right, and you can see the 6 in the box ready to play the run if it happens. But it's not a standard wide zone, as Laporta wraps inside his guard and tackle to climb to the will, cutting him off from making a play. Front side, the ends play high, but Taylor Decker turns him outside to create a lane. And a great double team from left guard and center seals the dangerous Jeffrey Simmons, allowing the left guard to climb to the Mike, and now Tennessee are in trouble. In stretch zone, normally the backside guard would have to get to the will, often having the chip alignment in the process for his tackle. And this is a really tough block to make, allowing the will or 3-tech to collapse the play from the backside, but the insert solves this issue. With the guard blocking right on the snap, the D tackles hesitate to read, as does the will reading the tight end inserting inside, not spotting this is wide zone before it's too late. The front side is sealed, and the will can't get over to make any play. And if you let Jahmyr Gibbs hit a gap like this, he's going to take this all the way to the crib. And this insert to block the will backer works great to seal him clear of the cutback lane too. More fantastic motion opens this up, and it's our boy St. Brown again with the insert. Watch how J-Mo's motion shifts the second level and forces the corner to widen, opening up the angles to cut off the backside. Tim Patrick works inside to cut off the corner over Ra, and Sun God inserts through the B gap to seal out the will backer. The mic knifes inside, and the end plays high to force the cutback. But look at the space when Gibbs does. There's no wheelbacker to fill this B gap, and the helping nickel gets sealed out too, allowing Jameer to dance through him and pick up the first. What makes the insert such an interesting concept to break down is how it adapts so beautifully to the play-action game, cooking coverages from unexpected angles. The best at this have been the Rams, who've dialed up some absolute beauties. Whittington is going to start to motion across the formation before pivoting 180 on the return. The ball is snapped as he's over the C gap, and he'll insert through it as if he's the lead blocker for Kyron. But this ain't no run, and he slips through the formation undetected, getting wide open on the crosser. Stafford checks the safety and then is straight to him. And you won't see many receivers this wide open ever in the NFL. And they pulled it out against the Patriots too. This time, the motion man's Puka Nacua, who's almost purposely built for this concept, arching his motion as if he's going to lead block through the C gap. But once again, this is just play action, as Puka pinballs his way off the linebacker to steal momentum for his crosser. And the corner gets all sorts of lost, trailing Nacua by almost 10 yards. This variant from the Vikings is fun too, and really difficult to stop. Naylor short motions and sits over the C gap right on the snap. And watch the Niners try to switch the gaps to deal with this. However, now a corner has his eyes in the backfield watching, and he's completely lost, leaving Naylor wide open to the back corner. The Eagles have used it a bunch too, and here's a nice variation from Kellen Moore. Jalen Hurts loves his RPOs, so why not insert your tight end inside for Barkley to follow, and build in a glance route for AJ Brown. Everybody steps up in fear of Saquon, and Hurts can pull it and fire a dart to his big man to corral. And here's a clever variant from the Colts. Mo Alley Cox motions and then fakes the lead block, and everyone's forced to step up defending the two-pointer, leaving him to slip behind for the pop pass from Minshew. And building off of that, I gotta show this variant, even if it's not technically the NFL, because this concept is all over college too. Army bring the H-back in motion and fit him through the B gap, looking like they're running insert QB lead. But this is just to get them to step up, as he slips through the defense on the rail route. The QB tucks the ball and steps forward like he's following the back, and the linebackers have to step up to defend this run, leaving a wide open pop pass for the touchdown. And the creativity goes even further from here, with those tricky Lions using it in pass pro. Facing the furious cover zero look from the Vikings, Ben Johnson finds a good way to use it, bringing wide receiver Tim Patrick in motion as part of the protection, creating time for Goff and stranding a defender in the process. The whole line shifts hard left, allowing Patrick and Montgomery to protect the backside edge. And cover zero is designed to get the play done with quickness, or it's susceptible to the shot play. Goff's got all the time in the world, able to look from left to right and find a wide open Amon-Ra up the seam. Ben Johnson dug deep in his bag for this one, borrowing this protection from the 05 Patriots, who brought it out to fight against the cover zero looks of that year's Broncos defense. Shout out to Dominique Foxworth for finding this gem on Twitter. The run game is officially back, and with defenses still scared of the pass, it's here to stay, at least for now. Insert is not the only way to attack the league's modern run fits. This is also why there's been a substantial increase in the use of both the duo and counter concept. However, add in insert to both of these, and now you're really cooking. As defenses get a feel for this, there will be future evolution to match it, and we've already seen glimpses of that, with teams blitzing the nickel on motions and changing the front to close the A-gaps faster. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the great tug-of-war of the NFL. For as quick as someone finds a new way to win, a strategy is devised to beat it.